I never thought I had to film this video. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can see by the title of the video, this is a story of how my bestie and I are no longer friends. So let's go back all the way to the beginning. Me and this person so we'll call her Anastasia. So Anastasia and I met back in high school. I want to say it had to be either my sophomore year and her freshman year, or my junior year and her sophomore year, since she's a year younger than me. So we were in different grade bands, but surprisingly had similar friend groups. I feel like a lot of us got along in high school with the same people. We're friends ever since. Preface, Anastasia and her family, because some of these stories do involve not just her but other people, but also so you guys can get to know her a little better, I guess. Her parents, her older brother, and then her two sisters, and then her younger brother, which she named the same name as my little brother. Is that a coincidence? Another thing, also side note, every time we would hang out, she would also always talk about her ex. And even back in high school, they'd have their problems, but just like any relationship does or whatever. Once we got out of high school, or talk about him. And I get it, like when you have your girlfriends, your friends, whatever, you're gonna talk about boys, your exes, whatever. But you guys, to the point where it's every time, she would even take my phone and be like, let me see. I remember one time she's like, you're not following him anymore? And I was like, no, I never did. And she was like, yes, you did. But him and I just stopped being friends, just like how that happens with the majority of people from high school. Before I get started, I just want to say, because I'm gonna be telling you guys a bunch of mini stories or things that happen throughout the friendship, but first thing I want to say in preface is her and my ex-best friend. If you guys watched my ex-best friend Storytime, I forgot what I called her. I literally said I'm gonna film this and be done talking about it, but back in high school, her and ex-best friend didn't get along, and so another thing I want to say, no, I'm not, and I haven't kept tabs on our friendship. These are just things that I laid out. There are about 10 of them that have happened that I wasn't okay with, or I shut my mouth, I kept my cool, I never said anything, but it's finally gotten to a point where enough is enough. So the first one is the game, which honestly, this one kind of goes both ways. From what I remember, it was just so dumb and petty, and we were teenagers. So our school, obviously, they had soccer games, and we would go to them. And I think this day, she didn't invite me, but she texted me and was like, oh, you went without me. You didn't invite me. And I was like, you didn't invite me either, So it was a mutual thing, and it was dumb and petty, so. Which I feel makes sense, these types of things tend to happen in high school. But one thing about Anastasia that I also need you guys to know is she's heavily an overthinker. Thinks of the worst case scenario that might happen, or always worries a lot, which you guys will see a reoccurrence. Okay, so the next thing that we kind of got into a fight about back in high school, I remember her sleeping over my house, and you know, like typical friends do, or you know, whenever you stay at someone's house, you know, you let them borrow some clothes to sleep in so that they get comfortable, and that's what I did. And I remember like her taking one of my favorite shirts, and I think I had just gotten it. And it was like this tie-dye blue shirt. I can even insert a picture so you guys know. And I think she had borrowed other stuff. But like I said, I don't remember because this was like the one thing that I really cared about. So she takes it with her, and I don't say anything. And I think we had gotten into like our like dumbest, worst argument too, which that one I don't remember, but I do remember being petty and being like, oh, can you get my stuff back? And I do remember she gave like a couple of those things back, but she never gave me my t-shirt back, the tie-dye. And it was very frustrating though, because I would see like her brother's girlfriend with my shirt, and I'm like, oh, I thought I let you borrow it, not her. But again, I never said anything because, so I never got that shirt back. Anyways, the next one is the movies. Okay, so this was in high school still, and we had plans to go to the movies. And because there really wasn't anywhere else we could go. So it was always like the movies or the mall, you know. So we had this plan where her dad was going to take us, and he was also going to pick us up. Keep that in mind. So, you know, he drops us off, and we watch the movie, blah, blah, blah. It's late, okay? We kind of went overboard. It was like 1 a.m. at this point. Everyone's leaving / everyone's gone. And her phone, like, she starts having low battery, and she's calling her dad, but he's not picking up. And so she's trying to like figure it out, like, you know, because we had said what we had said. And she's calling, I'm like, call your brother, call your mom, like your sisters, like anyone, you know. And nobody could come, or I don't know. And it got so bad to the point where she was like, let's ask a stranger to take us. And I'm like, are you dumb? Like, no offense, but are you serious? Like, have you not seen horror movies? So then her phone dies, and we're literally stranded. No, but basically what ended up happening, I had to embarrassingly call my parents, and I felt so bad because they had work, and it was late at night. They were already asleep, and I was like, can you come pick us up? Because I had told them, you know, like, we have a ride, don't worry about it, you know. And they came, of course, you know, they're always gonna do what's best for you, and like, but it was awful because I felt so bad. Okay, so these are all the ones that I can remember in high school. Now I'm gonna be talking out of high school experiences. So the first one is bowling. I remember we started like hanging out again and like really trying to build a stronger friendship. So we decided to go bowling. And for our first time. But the story that I'm gonna be telling, I don't remember if it was our first time or like, because we've gone multiple times, but I don't think it was our first time. So basically, you know, we're playing or whatever, and you guys know how they seat you with other people, which is so annoying in my opinion. There's this guy in front of us, and he's like with 2 other people, but like they're kind of like leaving him out, I don't know. And my friend recognizes him from school, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. And so of course, being the person she is, you know, she's being friendly, okay, whatever, to the point where he starts being a little too friendly to us. And he's like, can I get your guys' number? And I'm literally telling my friend, like, can you stop? Like, leave him alone. Like, leave him alone. Especially because we're also trying to hang out. Like, I know you feel bad for him, so do I. But, like, I didn't want something like this to happen. And so, of course, I awkwardly grab his phone, type in my number. And I'm so dumb. Like, ladies, a trick, just don't. And we finished bowling, and as we're leaving, he's like by himself again at the arcades, and my friend has this genius idea to go up to him, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And she's like, where are your friends? And he's like, oh yeah, they left. And he was like, I live right here by these apartments. And yeah, she's just like trying to do conversation with him. I'm trying to peace out. So we leave, we get in the car, and he texts me, which was so annoying and frustrating because I don't care if it was like with flirty intentions, with good intentions, whatever intentions, I just didn't want to text. And of course my friend is over here dying laughing because she didn't get a text. So I'm like and I don't know what happened because I try to block a lot of these things out of my memory, and a lot of these things that I say today I'm gonna be done talking about. It just sucks because I am all about, you know, making friends or making sure people are all fine and, you know, whatever, but like one time but no, she kept like insisting like she didn't have to talk to this guy and like put herself in these situations. And I feel like that's why half the time she's paranoid. And, you know, bless her heart, because obviously she has a big heart, you know, wanting to help everybody, but she can't. And it could have just been a chill night, her and I hanging out, and that's it. Like, does she talk to this guy anymore? No. Or see him? Okay, this second thing, I don't remember what we did or what. It was just late, and she was taking me home, and literally we're like 5 minutes away from my house. We're about to get there when all of a sudden we get pulled over. And of course, this is my first time experiencing, you know, being on the passenger side, and he asks for my information, which I didn't have anything. And so he like writes it down. He's like, tell me your info, blah, blah, blah. And he goes back to run it, and I tell my friend, like, why is he asking for my stuff? All right. She's like, oh, it's just like, you know, whatever. And I was like, okay. But thankfully he was cool, and it was so weird and random too because thankfully he didn't like give us anything, but my friend, she was like eating candy, and he was like, can I have some? What? And so she gives him like some M&Ms, and I'm like, are we serious right now? Like, what's going on? So this next one's kind of a long one, but we decided, my friend and I, to carve pumpkins because, you know, we were like, there's so many ways you could do it, so we were like, oh, let's just carve because I've never done it, she's never done it. Okay, cute. So, you know, we go to the little pumpkin patch, little local one we have here. We get our pumpkins. It was so cutesy, like supporting this local family, and they were so nice about it. We go home back to her place, and we're trying to like find a design. We're carving it, doing it, whatever. When all of a sudden, I noticed my friend, she's like on her phone a lot and not really like paying attention to her pumpkin, but I don't say anything because like I just think it's normal, until her like sisters bust open the door, run inside, and they're like, Anastasia, our dad's been arrested. Like with my pumpkin. Freaking out. They like start freaking out, you know, because her sisters are younger, and they were like with a friend, and they're like calling, trying to figure out. Her and I had to literally stop because we're like, and I felt so bad for her. And then like the sisters are fighting. She even like calls her a slur, you know, like a bad word. And I'm like, oh my god, this is so awkward. I should like not be here. Her mom was like in her room taking care of her son because she had a little brother. And my friend's like, okay, we're gonna take Noemi home, and then we're gonna like, you know, go get him and figure it all out. So we all awkwardly like, you know, just grab our stuff, like, okay, let's go. And we get in the car, and like this like person that they were with, I've like never seen her, is driving, Me and Anastasia are in the back, and it's just like so awkward. And you know, I could tell she felt bad because she was like, I'm sorry, and I was like, no, it's okay, like you need to figure this out. And they stopped by to get gas, and then they finally dropped me off, and they go off. And she still apologizes, and I was like, it's fine. And honestly, I don't know how this wasn't like my last straw with not only her but her family as well, because this was technically the second time her dad has gotten into some shit, and I never, like, I guess cared, or I always just wanted to be there to support. But like I said, it gets to a point where like enough is enough. Like, what's going on? Like, get your ish together. And yeah, that night was awful, and I literally told myself, I was like, I'm never going back to that house. True to this day, I've never gone back. So the rest of these stories are still out of high school, but they're just like at other places. This next one is the fair. We decided to go to the big fair that we have here where we live, because we've gone to like smaller fairs, but this was like the big one. So one thing about her, she was always late. And again, I never said anything, but this time it was like really bad, to the point where my parents are like, are you still gonna go? Because mind you guys, this was like a far drive, and you know, the lines are long because so I embarrassingly, I'm like, yeah, we're still going, and I'm like over here, where are you, you know? Like, hurry. And finally she gets here, and you know, we take off super late, and there's a long line, of course, to even park. And so finally she finds a spot, but it's like super far, you guys, mind you. Like, you always want to get as close as possible. So that was already like, okay, but I can't say anything, you know, she's the one taking us. And then she tells me to get off the car to, you know, check her, you know, to see. And good, because she had like this big van. And you know, she's little, so I was like, okay. And we're done, and we're like, okay, let's go. So we start walking, you guys. It's like the middle of the night, middle of nowhere. And we finally get there, you guys. By the time I was there, I was like so sweaty and ugly. And then the line wasn't too bad, thankfully, but one of the workers was like, ID. And I'm like, B, I don't have mine. Which, okay, probably was my fault. So I like quickly text my mom, and I'm like, can you take a picture, blah blah. Because I asked the lady, like, can I just show you a picture? She was like, yeah. And so I show it to her. Okay, you're good, get inside. And I'm like, oh my gosh, finally we're in. Bro, we literally had time for like 1 or 2 rides. Which is literally what we did. I don't remember if we got food or not, but it was just so dumb, in my opinion, looking back, because I'm like, there's no way. Like, we did all of that just to like leave a couple hours, if not a couple minutes later, because they were closing, and car, because like 2 girls by themselves in the middle of the night. And the whole time I was like, oh my god, like, God be with us. Okay, so this next one was the movies again, and it had been a while since we hung out. The movies, and I remember this was last year around my birthday time. Which is funny because I remember giving her a gift, like, and I told her, I was like, oh, all of our years of friendship, we had never gifted each other anything. So we go, why not? Yeah. So we go to our theater closest to us, because we literally live like 5 minutes away. And this one was a little ratchet the whole time, because we go inside and we're literally like where you have to pay, and we're like, oh, what movie do we want to see? And it was like so annoying, because and I was like, no, you pay. And she was like, no, you pay. And so finally we went with her pick. The movie had already started, so we're like hurrying up, getting our snacks. We walk in, you know, it's quiet, and we go all the way to the back, so we have to walk across all these people. My food falls. It's so embarrassing. So then we move to the front, and she's like, I'll go get you more food. And I'm like, no, it's okay. We're trying to watch the movie. I don't understand anything, not even just because we missed the first half, but seriously, the movie was so trash in my opinion. The movie was finally over, and thankfully we were able to make it to my movie. And so we sneak in, and I think we just went home after that. This next one was pretty recent, because I remember it was earlier this year, like February, March. And so she had a Valentine's party. Every year, and I felt bad because I had missed last year's. So I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna go this time. Only come to find out, I think it was like a little bit days before or the day of, and she was like, yeah, actually it's canceled. Which, here we go with the change of plans, but I totally understood because she said she was fighting with her sister, which, you know, they would always do, because I remember another time also before all of this being at her house and them bickering, and it was so awkward. But I guess that's just what sisters do. So she was like, let's just go do our own thing. And she came up with these plans to go to this place called the Highlands. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I'll go hang out with you. We get ready. She's late again. Like, I kid you guys not, the amount of times I've waited by this window for her. So finally she's here. She's like, have you been to the Highlands? And I'm like, no, but like I thought it sounded like really fancy. And she said it was like a karaoke bar, because I asked. We get there and she parks pretty far, which will come into later of the story. And we walk in, and like I recognized where we were. We were literally by the mall, but I had never been to this place. And it's like fairly small, and it's like a bar basically. And I'm like, okay, in my head, like I don't even like to drink like that. Oh, it's super awkward, and we sit down. And she's like, do you want to, you know, get drinks? And I'm like, sure. But I was literally like there for the food, because I was starving, you guys. I purposely do this thing where I don't eat because I know I'm gonna eat later, because we had plans. So my dumbass, I knew like I hate, you know, those fruity types of drinks. Like, I should have just gotten a shot at this point. But I let her pick the drinks, and I picked the food. Disgusting. It was disgusting, as expected. I didn't even finish it. And then the food was mid. It was spicy as hell. Like, I can handle spicy, but like, it was not it. And you know, it's a karaoke place. You're supposed to sing. So people finally start singing. Thankfully, she didn't make me go up there. So like halfway into it, this like cop comes in, and she starts getting paranoid, how I told you guys that she does. And she's literally like, why is he here? Starts freaking out, and I'm like, because he's doing his job. And then she tells me, she has the audacity to be like, go check my car, go check my car. I'm like, it's not my goal. No, but for real, like I was like, what are you doing? Like, I was trying to like change her mind off of it, like tell her to calm down. No, nothing was working. Literally to the point where our waiter passed by, and she was like, quick question, why is he here? And at that point I was like, oh my gosh. The waitress tells her he's just here, you know, patrolling if anything happens. Like, duh. No offense, but I seriously was like, and I just look at the waiter, and I was like, in my head, like, I'm sorry about her. And so finally she gets up and goes check, and she like chills out, and we can enjoy the rest of our night until these boys pull up on us. First, it was this one older guy who talked to my friend. Are you single? You know. And of course, she lies and says, I have a boyfriend. And I'm just sitting there awkwardly like, girl, and I just shut up. Until this other guy comes up. It was like two of them to the both of us. Friend over there thinks you're cute. And we're like, who? You know? But the guy was like too shy or nervous to come. I don't know. And at that point, I was over everything. I was over it. And my friend and I are like, we get the bill. We go to the bathroom. These guys think we're going to go up to them because they start like, you know. And my friend's like, she couldn't do it. So I was like, okay, just put it on mine. All right. And then we leave. And that was it. Until she recommends, you know, like, oh, like we're driving home. And she's like, do you want to go buy a bottle? And I was like, what do you mean? Driving, like, what do you mean? And then she like does this thing where she pulls up to her house. I don't know if she was gonna get something or what, but then she just keeps driving around and she's like, oh, let's just keep driving. And I'm like, okay. And then she like stops by the gas station, perfect spot, and she was like, we're gonna film TikToks. And I was like, this is the perfect spot. And she was like, no, let's go somewhere else. And I was like, okay. And then we're like at this Whataburger. Nope, there was like other people there, and I was like, absolutely not. And so then finally we get closer to my house, and we're like at this Waffle House, nobody's there, and we just start filming TikToks. So finally we get home to my place, and I'm like always, sleepover, you know, because I always love to have people over, like I don't care. And she was like, no, but then she was like, okay, fine, you know, like always debating it, like I get it. And then we get home to my place, I let her borrow my clothes, which leads into the next thing that happened. You know, she gets up the next day, and surprisingly, weirdly, she gives me my shirt back, but not the pants. I'm like, okay, I don't say anything. She leaves, and fast forward to this day, when I'm filming this, she has not given them back. Mind you, you guys, it's been like 4 months. I've asked her 2 months ago, and so it's been 2 months since I've asked again. The first time I asked, she hit me with, oh, I still want to keep them. And again, this is like how much like I bite my tongue and I don't say anything, which I need to stop, because I literally should have and could have been like, no, but I'm not asking. Like, I need them. I want them back, you know? And then the second time I asked, she hit me with, I'm gonna try to find them. Which I know is just BS, and it's frustrating because that's kind of what she did the first time back in high school. And I'm scared, and I fear what the outcome might be. What she did the first. As far as like stories and stuff, and it's crazy how, you know, the whole borrowing clothes, like again, like I was fine with it back in high school because I was like, you know, we're teenagers. The fact that she's still doing it present day in our friendship, and she knows it bothers me, she knows it's an issue, and still chooses to do it, that's where we have a problem. And you guys might be wondering, well, what was the cherry on top that like set all of this off, that was like the final straw? And you might be thinking it was this. So one thing I didn't tell you guys, out of high school, when we started to hang out again, she was like completely different and changed, you know? So one thing I didn't tell you guys, she was like into God, and she wanted like a godly man. She didn't drink, she didn't smoke, didn't cuss, none of that. Fast forward to now, she's completely changed and different and going down a wrong path, because she cusses, drinks, smokes, and even has this like bum of a man, which I don't think she even knows that I know, but I know. I'm not dumb. And it's crazy again, because you would think her actions are what's setting me over the rail, which yes, but the fact that you as a person, you're also just like changing kind of almost backwards in a way, yeah, I can't anymore. Chance, this is when you should, and I know you may be thinking like, Noemi, give her one more chance, this is when you should be there for her the most. But baby, I've given her almost one too many chances, and I've always put others before me, and I think it's time. Like, I'm at a point where I need to start putting myself first. We're grown. If you didn't understand then, you're not going to understand now, because if I even try to have a conversation with her, I know how it's going to go. And tell me all these things, but you know, you can tell me all these things, but actions speak louder than words. Like, I don't even need to tell you, like, you should know. Like, and I know for some of these things she does, and the fact that you just carelessly don't care, don't want to try to get better, don't want to fix things, it's like, then why should I? And there's so many more other things that I'm not telling you guys, also just because, you know, I'm trying to respect this person, Anastasia, as much as I can, without putting all the business out there. But I do have my side, and I need to say my truth. And for so long, like, this is years of friendship we're talking about, and the type of friend, like, I just walked so blindly that I was like, oh, whatever, I'll let it slide, oh, whatever. Like, I'm just that type of friend, like. But then I guess everything's bottled in, that I'm just like over it. And trust me, I have had time to think about this and think about things, and you know, like, you're ready to walk away. And I think it's even more sad when it's just easy to walk away, because I know it shouldn't be like that. Like, I should want to, you know, fight to stay, or fight for a friendship or whatever. But like I said, if the other person isn't going to change, they don't care, it's always going to be the same, it's always going to be something, it's always going to be some drama, it's going to be another one of these stories. I'm not even kidding. Maybe even worse. Like, no thank you on this video. But yeah, you guys, I never thought I had to film this video. It's sad. It's crazy too, because this is also like my one and only friend, and potentially my last friend. Like, I think I'm done with friendships. Like, I'm so over it. And it's crazy though, because with all my past friendships, it's almost like they've walked out of my life, and this is probably the first one where I'm choosing to walk out and choosing myself. I probably missed something, but it doesn't matter anymore. It's too late. I'm done. And once I'm done, I'm done. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.